There we go. And the mic's on, it's too loud. Woo! We're in. Hey guys, welcome to today's stream.
Hey.
It's very dark.
It is a little bit dark, isn't it?
What's that about?
We're in a slightly pokey corner of the studio.
It's very well backlit, but not just, well, it's going to get rid of that because that's going to be distracting. Probably not.
Hello!
Welcome to the stream. How's it going? So, right, today is, I have with me, that's always a sentence, Kris.
Hello.
And I am Matt. Kris, what do you do at Payload?
I'm a designer at Payload. I'm the lead designer for TerraTech.
Nice. So you are the right person to talk to about some news that we just announced about Reticle research.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, for those that don't know, and for those that are aware, I'm gonna link to it now. We've recently announced that Reticle research will be coming to Campaign.
Yeah.
So this thread kind of explains most of what we're going to talk about today. It goes into a bit of detail about how we got to this point and kind of what we're going to do going forward, or at least what the plan is going forward. So I'll just quickly recap what has happened, and I think Kris will jump in if he has any kind of anything to add. But basically, we had a whole rebrand of the R&D test chamber. We wanted to sort of freshen it up a bit, add a bit more content, give it a bit of love, because it had been a bit neglected pretty much since we've launched, which is coming on 18 months now. So that included adding testing apparatus. There's going to be a whole new battle arena so you can test out your techs, and basically a whole new reskin. So effectively we replaced EXP Corporation, it wasn't even a corporation, with Reticle Research. They were a corporation that we'd talked about a lot, and they were part of the TerraTech lore and kind of part of that universe. So we thought, well, now would be a good opportunity to sort of throw them in. We kind of published an FAQ about it and sort of tried to answer as many questions as we could about what that would mean about the corporation going forward. At the time, it wasn't particularly in our plans to make Reticule Research a full corp. I think that's fair to say.
I mean, so it's an interesting situation because our initial intention was, as you say, to reskin the R&D test chamber, give it a bit of love, make it good, fix it up a bit. And as part of that, we thought, well, we can address this weird situation with EXP because when we added them, this was fairly early on. It was right after the Kickstarter, so that's about 6 years ago.
Wow, yeah.
We initially added the R&D pack, for those who don't know, as a purchasable DLC, because we were offering it as a reward to Kickstarter backers, and then other people were saying, well, hey, I want access to it as well. So that's why we were at one point an early access game with a DLC pack as well, which was a bit of a strange, unusual situation, but that's why it happened. So as part of our initial concept for the R&D pack, we wanted to have experimental blocks that we weren't sure what we were going to do with them yet. Put them in there, let people toy around with them, let people give some feedback, and over the years we've put a number of blocks through there and then graduated them to other corporations. I'm sure you guys know this. But we kind of jumped on that plan before we had an idea of what that EXP corporation should be. We just thought, oh, it's like a prototype thing. It's not really, it doesn't really have a personality. It's just like a holding space. And in this rebrand of the R&D pack, you know, in this update for it, we thought, well, hey, you know, we've got this concept of a corporation in the world. Hello. And you know, that's Reticle Research. That's what they're made for. They're supposed to be. They're all about prototypes. So why, you know, it felt like a natural fit to us. But what we obviously didn't take into account was that everyone's obviously expecting Reticle Research to appear in the main game as a corporation, and that's why everyone's really excited.
Which is totally understandable.
Like,
we
seems obvious now. But yeah, so that's broad strokes. That's the plan. We're going to bring Reticle Research as a full corporation to the vanilla game. For everyone who doesn't have R&D pack, they'll be able to play with the Reticle Research blocks. They'll be able to complete Reticle Research missions. They're going to have a fabricator. They're going to have a shop block. So that's it.
That's a lot. It's good.
So that's the stream done, right?
Yeah. We'll see you later, guys. Thanks for coming. Record time.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a bit of a Q&A stream. If you've got questions, please throw them into the chat. Tag TerraTech game on this, so it's a bit easier to pick them out from the general chat. But yeah, I'm quite excited about what we can do with Reticle.
I know, this is really cool.
Initially, it was just about, you know, rebranding that, updating R&D, making it good. Now it's clear there's a big demand for some Reticle Research blocks, some Reticle Research missions. So we get to make them now. Yeah, which is good.
I think what's most, and this is what you touched on there, what I'm most excited about is seeing what we can do with the set piece missions and how we can use those to sort of form the Reticle Research arc.
That's it. So the thing I want to do with Reticle Research is we don't want to have generic missions. We don't want to just do the defeat enemy tech stuff. We just want to focus on what we call internally set piece missions, which are these new sort of more in-depth missions that involve unique characters and unique terrain, that sort of thing. There's a question here from Ender Blaze. So there will be an NPC for Reticle Research. There'll be several probably, depending on what the mission structures are. What I'm thinking is still early days, because obviously we had an initial plan for Reticle Research, which after feedback from everyone, we've had to discuss and sort of change tack a little bit. But the rough plan at the moment is to focus each of the Reticle Research missions around demonstrating and explaining the use of specific reticle research blocks.
Yeah.
For anyone who's not familiar with what the plan is for reticle research or what the theme is for reticle research, it's supposed to be mad scientists, contraptions and experiments that can kind of blow up in your face and go a bit wrong. So I think there's quite a lot of scope for some fun missions based around that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, we have to decide which block sets to do. We're obviously going to do a base set of blocks, you know, wheels, standard blocks, and some weapons to go in there. You know, all of the regular stuff you'd expect for any corporation. And then some of the EXP blocks that have been rebranded as reticle research stuff in R&D may come across. Some of them, you know, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to make sure that everything makes sense for campaign. But nevertheless, you're going to get reticle research missions. You're going to get reticle research blocks in campaign.
Yeah, there will be a whole new EXP bar for you to fill up. They'll have their own grades. The blocks will fit into those grades. Okay, yeah, so they're referencing.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, that was written a long time ago. Sorry, we're just reading. Green for Gaming's just posted a description of reticle research for anyone who's interested. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that does genuinely cover most of the things that we know so far. In terms of timeline, we're not that fussed with sticking to any sort of or sort of being religious about how or when we can expect these things.
We've got the next few updates planned out already, obviously, and so because this is a bit of a pivot for us based on what you guys have asked for. It'll take us a little while to get there, but you know, bear with us.
Yep,
we'll get there.
Yeah. So this isn't. We're not just going to come on stream and drop a load of research in campaign stuff. As you guys know, these things take time. We want to make sure we do it right. We want to make sure we do it properly. I think one thing that this is actually more of a question for Kris, for myself. What's going to make Reticule research unique? One thing that we've always banged on about is that if we were to add a new corp, we wanted to make them feel they had their own identity. So rather than just kind of taking blocks and effectively reskinning them as a different corp, we wanted to try and add new mechanisms and new mechanics.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
Is that
right.
something we're going to try and do?
So you know, when we added Venture, it's all about mobility. When we added Hawkeye, it's all about weapons. Better Future, we looked at hover and improving that.
And anti-grav. We added anti-grav as well, yeah.
For reticle research, because we're still pivoting to this, we haven't made a decision, but there's lots of areas to explore. There's things potentially that we could look at. As I say, this is an active conversation, so we're open to suggestions, we're open to ideas. You know the theme of the corporation, and you know some of the example blocks that we've talked about. My feeling is that it should focus around very powerful weapons that are incredibly impractical to use for whatever reason. So one of my favourite examples, back in the day when we were thinking about what reticle research could be, you know, one day, was the spherical slice shield. Mm-hmm. Have you heard about this?
Nope.
So the idea is you attach this block to your tech, you power it up, and then you engage it, and wherever you are, it will project a bubble around you, and that will slice off anything that bubble intersects with. So you could potentially have a little mini RC car type tech that drives underneath a huge enemy. You engage this thing, and it just chews a big chunk out of it straight away. And I was thinking, well, you know, that sounds mad, but you know, the next step might be that you could have a sort of a physical hamster ball style shield. And maybe this is the same block, or maybe it's like a completely different one. But you could engage this thing, and it would ping around, causing damage to people. But you're completely out of control whilst it's working. That's obviously a specific block, and we'd have to think about what the more general themes of the corporation might be. You know, there have been a few ideas thrown around. Potentially, we could look at things like teleportation. And, you know, how would that work? How would that make sense?
But it's already in R&D, right?
Yeah, it is in a very structured, contained form. But you know, if we were to allow players to have that, you know, what would that mean to set up a gate at one point and then exit another? And what would the rules be? Could you put resources through it? You know, is there any danger to the techs that pass through? If a fly goes through at the same point, do you get half tech, half fly?
Yes! That's exactly what should happen.
But yeah, so the fun thing is now that we're committing to adding Reticle Research as a full corporation, there's momentum behind doing these blocks and figuring out what this theme is. So I want to hear your ideas.
Yep.
Throw them at us.
Hey, where can they put them, Kris?
On the forum, in the chat, on Discord. Yeah?
On the forums.
On the forums.
No, we've had this debate. Forums is the best place because we can capture it then. If you have ideas and you want to let us know and you want to, you know, you feel like you've got a real idea that's going to change TerraTech, it's going to be a paradigm shift for TerraTech. Don't put it in Discord because we probably won't capture it. Put it on the forums because we can capture it and it'll stay there and it'll live there forever. And we can put that forward. That's the best place. I've linked it up above. I'm sure Moobot will jump in a second and come on, Moobot. That's not going to help. So yeah, jump on the forums, let us know. There's a whole suggestions and feedback section that Kris monitors quite regularly. Should monitor quite regularly. And then so that's kind of what we want to do going forward.
Because Omni Wheels, that'd be good.
Because they want to do that and then essentially allow you to strafe, right?
See them on YouTube sometimes.
Yeah. Doesn't a Moonraver got them?
Moonraker?
I feel like I know Moonraver, like the NASA Moonraver.
Yeah, maybe. It seems that sort of thing.
I'm sure it was on Top Gear. What happened to Grabbit X TerraTech? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, right, Grabbit. So Grabbit and TerraTech. Grabbit was the 3D printing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't know that.
So we had that in for a while. It took us a long time to integrate it. Basically, you could build a tech and then you could click a button and it's an order of 3D print of your tech.
Yeah.
A few people used it, but it wasn't, it
Most
wasn't very well used. And obviously, there's a lot of moving parts with something like that. So we decided to take it out after a while. But yeah.
Awesome. All right. We're not getting a huge amount of questions through. I'm assuming that's because we're really good at explaining stuff, and not because people aren't that interested. But if you have got a question, if you feel like there's anything you want to know about Reticle Research or what our plans are for that, get it in the chat because I'm sure we've not covered half the stuff we should. Let me check my notes. We've mentioned the Commons campaign, the missions will work differently, so that, Kris mentioned that.
So Exxon's brought up a good point, modding support when it comes to that happening. So that's definitely on the plan, and this is one of the things that we'd want to look at doing, perhaps in parallel, but we'll have to see. It is pretty high up on the list now. We've cracked through a lot of the earlier ones. Not all of them, but we're getting through them. One of the guys upstairs has been specifically looking at this and considering it and formulating a plan, and they're pretty familiar with modding as well. So
you may know them by the name of Flan.
Yeah. So it's something on the cards. Obviously, we can't ever give you a date because we can't ever stick to the dates, but it is something which is happening. There are people thinking about it and working on it. So,
and it's slowly but surely through painstaking negotiations from the community and James and Jamie. It's a lot higher up our sort of to-do list now, which is good because it means that it's gonna give you guys a lot more power.
Something we wanted to do for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, and we don't have to make the game.
Literally, you guys can make the game for us, and we'll just catch in on it.
Yeah.
That's.
No, I mean, seeing some of the stuff that you guys do. James is really good at posting updates on what people are up to, what Whiteboard's been working on, what all of you guys in the modding forum are doing, and it's always draws a few gasps and a bit of a monitor cluster where everyone's looking at. But
Cool. Are payload delivery missions in the works? What do you mean by payload delivery missions? What do they mean by payload delivery missions?
I'm not sure.
What do you mean by payload delivery missions, Ras?
Oh, do you mean a surefire way to get hold of the shop blocks for each corporation? Is that what you're asking? It is a bit fiddly, isn't it? It can be really frustrating sometimes when you don't get hold of Oh golly, I'm so sorry. my old brain isn't what it once was. Yeah, he's saying that he's already spoken his past, and I like the idea. I'm sure I did. Please remind us. Sorry.
Kris has got his very big brain. There's a lot of things going on in there. Things drop out from time to time.
There's tell you, there's more things I've forgotten about TerraTech
than you actually put into
it.
Amazing. All right, cool. Is there anything else you want to cover off while we're here?
Delivering massive blocks. Okay, all right. Oh, like the mass driver. Maybe. I'm not sure. Okay.
Let's talk about something that's a bit separate from research. But we had a little bit of feedback on the naval cannon that we just added in unstable.
Oh yeah, so I bumped that.
You've bumped that, so that's now by far the strongest weapon.
I saw the feedback thread for that appeared before the naval cannon was even put into the game, so people were sort of getting ready. They were poised.
They were.
It's a very powerful gun. Honestly, it is one of the highest DPSs for any explosive weapon, long range explosive weapon in the game. But I've still bumped it. If
it's already unbalanced and there's nothing else for it to compete with, let's just go.
It appears right at the end of Hawkeye, so who knows? You know.
Yep.
Hey, they're saying that like the Hive launcher. Is that? Yes. I like the Hive launcher as well.
The Hive launcher. It's a good.
It's knocked it out of the park with that one. Have you seen the startup animation for it?
I haven't given it a try
yet. It does a little fiddly thing, and like one bit folds back, and then it's like firing all these like Hornet missiles out.
Nice.
They're all buzzing around.
I love the animations that we've added as well.
Description.
You can take that praise.
Thanks. That's all I did for it, really. I integrated it, but yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm just reading this chat. Piston blocks. Oh, right, piston blocks, sticky pistons. Yeah. Oh no. just getting past one thing. I don't want to get into pistons again. Not right now.
Could the naval gun? Can we reduce its fire rate? So one of the things that I sort of got the impression from was that it looked great. Definitely looks great.
Yeah.
But
it does look good, doesn't it?
It doesn't function like a naval cannon would. In my eyes, it's really slow to move.
Yeah.
And its rate of fire is like once every minute. I know that's unreasonable.
I mean, it's got a rate of fire. It's got 3 barrels with a rate of fire of one shot per second. As I say, I've increased the damage per shot. I've increased the blast radius of the of each explosion. I've increased the range a little bit, and I've increased the turning speed of the turret. So it's got increases across the board. You know, it's taking already fairly strong weapons and bumping it up. It does occupy a lot of space on the tech. Obviously, those barrels are quite long, and so it's a lot of filled cells. And it's quite expensive. Yeah. Someone was saying it's around 30k. I think it is priced at 40k, but I'll have to check that.
Let's get some discounts.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, no, there's a whole thread. So if you guys want to jump into the naval cannon chat, you can do that. And I'm in there, I'm listening.
All right.
Yeah.
Right then, so that covers off Reticle research. While we're here, we may as well go into what we're currently working on and what we're going to go on to in the next sort of update. So pretty much the last unstable is all the new content that's going to come out before the next major release. So if you want to see what minus a few tweaks here or there, go check out the latest unstable. If not, wait until the major release comes out, which will be in a couple of weeks, probably.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Can we talk about what we've got planned after that?
Nope.
No.
It's all done, but you know, it's more missions, more blocks.
Yep.
You know. Modding's up there. It's not necessarily coming in that update, but it's being worked on at the moment. It's obviously a big thing, so we want to get it right. We want to do it right. So we can't confirm a release date for that. But yeah, no, we're kind of on the content train now. So there's now 3 of us making missions. I've got 2 missions already in the can.
You want to talk about that? Or should we leave it as a
do.
surprise? Let's leave it as a surprise. Just guys know there's 2 whole missions coming that Kris did himself.
Yeah, well, we got Bomber Command mission, we got Charlie Watchtower.
Yeah,
got,
they are great fun, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to try them, give them a go, guys. Honestly, on our stable, the new missions that have been added, we call them set piece missions. Probably shouldn't talk about that. Say that so candidly.
Yeah.
New missions. That's what they're called, and you should play them because they're really fun.
Yeah. So those are in the unstable now. They're gonna go stable soon.
Cool.
Stable, is it next week?
I think it's at least next week. May even be like tomorrow.
We're getting there. We are. I've been fixing some bugs.
I know the majority of our Twitch audience are on PC, but for those that may be on PS4 or Xbox, PS4 we're going to hopefully release the next update for PS4 very shortly, and we'll have more information to announce either tomorrow or maybe even this afternoon if I can get my stuff together. Xbox, you guys have got all that cool stuff anyway, so you can't complain about anything.
Sorry, just quickly, Spoon saying, is the range for the naval cannon much bigger or only a tiny bit bigger? So the range for the naval cannon rivaled that of the regular Hawkeye cannon. It was pretty similar. Only the battleship cannon fired further. So I've bumped it between those 2 points. So it fires now further than the standard Hawkeye cannon, but less far than the battleship cannon. The battleship cannon's obviously quite a fixed, single weapon, very powerful, longer range. So it's not a short range weapon by any means. So it's only a little bump, but it's just enough.
It's always a paradox really, because if you want accuracy of like a naval gun, but it's not on. There aren't any ships in TerraTech?
No. Airships.
No airships. Yeah, right, that's fair. Okay, cool.
I don't know if that counts as Navy. Maybe it does in the future, who knows?
Unless it's a belly button gun.
Oh, yes, a naval. Yes.
Naval gun.
Kind of naval. Right, yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, so that's pretty much what we're going to be working on. I'll recap Xbox. You guys have got all that cool stuff. We've announced. No, I'm going to keep Stum on that because I'm not sure if I can talk about that. Skins are on there. PlayStation will be getting skins soon, as well as Corp campaign. That's coming. Switch will be next. So Switch will be getting a better future update. Yep. Then they'll be getting all the co-op stuff as well as skins. So that's what we're sort of
getting there. We're getting up to parity with the consoles.
Yeah. And then once we're there, mods for all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
We are there. All right.
Anything else? We'll give you 10 seconds and then we're going to skedaddle because we've covered everything we can and we haven't got anything else planned.
They're saying the rate of fire for the cannon is slightly too high. Yeah, potentially. So you're saying you prefer a slower rate of fire and higher damage per shot?
To give it a better naval cannon, to make it feel more like a proper naval cannon. That's the way I interpret it.
Can increase the kickback as well.
Yes.
Feel
more kickback.
Yeah. Ooh, all right, I'll think about that. Jump in the naval cannon thread.
Yeah. Moobot has linked it above, so scroll up and find Moobot's link to the thread, to the forums, excuse me.
Who's that in the back?
I feel like maybe they shouldn't be in the stream.
Yeah, it's probably not good to
actually, and that's better. We are better lit as well.
A little bit, yeah. You can sort of see our faces. Yeah, there you go. That's all right.
All right.
What's our favourite Corp? What's your favourite Corp?
Ooh. Unannounced or unreleased or...
Have we got unannounced Corps?
Yeah, well there's Legion and...
Oh right, yeah, unreleased ones.
That's what I meant.
Mine is Hawkeye. I'm kind of a dumb barbarian style player.
Just blow stuff up.
DPS, damage, that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
That's what I do. What's yours?
I would probably say Better Future. Just...
Why is that?
I don't know, they look good.
They do look nice, they are very pretty. It's like sheeny, shiny, glossy.
And that, in a nutshell, that's going to be my on my tombstone when I die. Sheeny, shiny, Better Future.
Legion and Junkers potential costs. We'll see. Who knows?
Right.
Oil bug. So the hover bug. No, we haven't got any updates on legitimising that. It still stands. We're not going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point we want to put in better controls for making multi-techs. We want to bring them more into the fold so that it doesn't require such janky tactics to get a multi-tech going. But yeah, the hoverbug. Oh, the hoverbug.
I'm going to change subject slightly. If you guys like creating fast techs that only got 2 wheels, go on this thread and submit your fast 2-wheeled tech, because I want to see them. And you may be on the leaderboard, and you may get a nice little banner on the forums that shows how good you are at doing that.
So you guys are going to test them in the speed trap?
Yep.
2 wheels only?
2 wheels only. Only 2 wheels can be on the ground at any one time. Now, if you're able to make a Ferris wheel type thing that kind of rolls and there's still only 2 wheels on the ground at any one time...
Is that in the spirit of the challenge?
Sure.
Is it? Okay.
All right. Oh yeah, I mean, if you're able to do that and it would get anywhere near the top of the leaderboard,
yeah, sure.
More for you, my friend.
Okay, yeah.
I think obviously the way TerraTech's designed is that there is a finite speed that we can go. So maybe we'll optimize it so that everyone can find that and everyone will do that. But hey, if you make something cool and funny, and I enjoy my job because of what you've done, I've won.
Yeah.
I'm the winner in that.
Yes, you are the winner there.
Cool.
I like that. So they're suggesting that potentially reticle research's means of flight could be a legitimised hoverbug block, which is an interesting thought.
That is actually interesting.
It is interesting. Have a little thinky about that. It's tricky because obviously hoverbug is completely free, unlimited flight. So renders boosters a bit, makes them less appealing, obviously. But then, propellers are pretty free as well, so, have to think about that one. Have to think about it. Omnisphere. What is an Omnisphere? Okay, yeah, fine.
I think I've seen the Omnisphere before.
What is the Omnisphere?
Is it like a big gyro?
Is it like the TerraDome?
Is it like the TerraDome? It might be like the TerraDome. Right. Anything else?
I think that's it. So yeah, jump on the forum. Let us know what you think for reticle research.
Yep.
What we should theme the corporation around. Obviously, there are some plans. There are some ideas about how it should feel. There's a shared understanding of what reticle research is. But which blocks should we be focusing on? Where should we be looking? Let us know. We're thinking about it as well.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks
Thank you.
to Kris. Thanks to that back of that guy's head.
Yep. That made it.
That was definitely the highlight. Let's be fair. I mean, reticle research, whatever.
I liked it.
As back of heads go.
It's mysterious.
Yeah. I want to know more.
I do.
Have a great week, guys. Next week we'll probably do something more usual that we stream. So I want to do a stream on. I was going to try and do it today, but it wasn't going to work out. Multi-techs. If you know much about multi-techs and you're good at them, come by because I'm going to try and make some. I'll drag someone in, probably Anton. He's quite good looking.
He's a good looking chap.
He's got good hair.
Yeah.
Way better than us, let's be honest.
Very good hair.
Yeah. Guys, we'll see you soon. Have a great week. Bye!
See you. Bye-bye.